Welcome back to the Crypto Rainn channel. I'm your host, Jay Murph. What is going on in the markets? It's Sunday, and it didn't even crash this weekend. That's unusual because the last number of weekends it has crashed tremendously. Well, I wanted to share with you what my thoughts are on what's to follow later this year. I know many of you are new in this space, and even if you've been around for a while, you get concerned when we have massive retracements like this. And the biggest fear gnawing at the back of your mind is, are we going to go to zero? Well, not likely. Really, not likely. Could happen. The world could end tomorrow too. So, if the world does end tomorrow, probably your portfolio is going to zero. Short of that, you're probably good. And the reason is because I've been through these panic cycles. I was thinking in the past 20 months alone, like 5 of these already. So in the past 4 years, like 12 of these, right? So this is nothing new. I've seen so many of these, and they happen about every 4 months. And you get really big retracements, and you get people panicking, and the fear and greed index goes way, way down. Right now, today, it's at 22. It was all the way down at 10. I swear one time I was here and it said 6. So maybe they average it out of what it was for the day, because one of them said 6. And I was like, that to me is a freaking buy signal. I am buying. So I did deploy a bunch more capital into the market because I like to buy when everybody's panicking, and I like to sell when everybody's super hopeful. Now, I didn't take a lot of profits in these sell zones. See, this is when everybody's like, oh my gosh, it's going so well. And the reason is because I am waiting for later in this cycle. Now, today I'm not going to get too into how these cycles play out. Just know that every 4 years we have a massive run, sometimes a smaller run, and then a later massive run. In fact, 2013 had a massive run early in the year. The same time frame as we had this one, had even bigger pullbacks. Then it had some cooling period. And then it had massive, massive gains at the end of the year. And my guess is this year is going to play out a lot more like 2013 than 2017. So I've got pulled up here. This is Bitcoin. And we have this big pullback here. And I know, if you watch some people, they're like, oh my gosh, this is a head and shoulders pattern. And so we're likely to come down to here to 20,000. Now, we could just know that patterns don't always play out. They sometimes play out. Sometimes you could say they often play out. They just don't always play out. And if they do, that's okay. I'm not short. I'm not long as far as options trading. I buy spot trading, meaning I just buy the assets and I hold them. So though it can be frustrating if you buy them and it goes down like this, there's 2 things that go through your mind. Oh my gosh, I'm scared it will go to zero. And the other thing is, shoot, if I had waited, I could buy more for so much cheaper. And guess what? Hindsight is completely 20/20. And it's hard not to worry about those things when you're newer, so I won't tell you not to worry about them. Just know that that's normal, and everybody thinks those thoughts. And the longer you're in this space, the more those are going to go away. Now, I do share some secrets with my audience in this channel on achieving financial freedom and wealth through cryptocurrency. And you know what some of those secrets are? Patience. And also committing to be here for 5 years, because likely this is your first cycle here in crypto. And guess what? There were a bunch of new people last cycle. Did you know a lot of those new people aren't still with us today? And if those new people that were with me in 2017 when I started, if they had just kept buying when things were cheap with me, they probably would be at life-changing wealth already too. So what is the big secret to being here in crypto is commit to 5 years. Commit yourself to be here for 5 years. Also, save some money of what you're making every month. Like, don't spend it all, and dollar cost average into this. Now, I do time my buys. I don't completely dollar cost average. Let me share with you some secrets. Okay, so when I was brand new to crypto, I made some mistakes, and I didn't find out about crypto till I didn't really pay attention to it till Bitcoin was about 6,200, and then at the time, Coinbase was the major way to buy, and so they wouldn't let you buy a whole lot, and so I bought a little bit, And then I was able to buy a little bit more, and then I bought some more. It went up to here, and I rolled that into some altcoins and didn't really know what I was doing with altcoins and didn't really buy the best altcoins. But still, my portfolio went from about 100 or 15,000 to about 150,000. And then it crashed, and it came all the way down to like 3,000, which was totally disheartening. But you know what? I kept buying. See, I would save like crazy, and I would buy, and then I bought some more, and then I bought some more. This was my secret, right? Genius. Look, Murph is a genius. And I bought some more. I didn't know what to think about with this. This kind of threw me off. Let me share with you this weird pattern that happened here. Okay, so we're supposed to be in the middle of a bear market, and out of nowhere freaking comes these massive gains to 14,000, almost to $14,000. And I was like, I don't know what's happening. We're supposed to be in a bear market, and Bitcoin is not performing the way it should. And the reason it pumped like crazy is there was some kind of Ponzi scheme out of China called One Chain or something. China and India, this gal with a PhD, and basically they were just, paying out dividends based on taking on new money and, saying they had some algorithm that was doing the trading. These Ponzi schemes are almost always the same. And it pumped a Bitcoin tremendously before it crashed. So this was never even supposed to happen. I didn't know what to do with this. So I was like, it's taking off so early in the cycle, so I'll buy. And then I bought some more. Then I kicked myself because of how cheap it got here. But guess what? Hindsight is 20/20. I didn't know, but fair to say, when you look back, you're like, oh my gosh, even buying here at $10,000 was totally cheap compared to even where we're at now. I mean, that's just part of being human because we don't have hindsight, right? So now early this year, we had this big pump, and we shouldn't have had such a big pump so early in the year, but a lot of people got excited about the technology. There was a certain CEO of Tesla that was talking about Bitcoin, and so people got overexcited, and it overpumped for early in the cycle. And guess what happens when you overpump? You usually overcorrect, and we could see more of a correction down. This could be a head and shoulders pattern that plays out, and it comes down to about 20,000. Could break below that and come all the way to 12,000. Do I think it'll come to 12,000? No. Do I think it'll come to 20,000? There's a chance. So how am I playing this? I am not selling the stuff that I have here. Now, if it does come down here, I'm going to deploy some extra savings that I have into here, and I'll take those savings out, when we come back over here later this month. Now, it won't kill me if like Bitcoin goes to zero. I do say invest with money that you can afford to lose. Doesn't mean it's not money that wouldn't be painful to lose, but I'm, not going to lose that mortgage, get behind on the mortgage. I'm not going to be like out on the street or anything with the money that I put in. You shouldn't either, because it takes away your ability to be patient. A lot of the panicking in the space happens when we're using money that we can't afford to lose. And the risk with that is not only if we're borrowing money to invest in this, but it's funny when we get too panicked if we are borrowing money or we're trading on leverage. And so it takes away our ability to be patient, so that say this does play out like this and does come down to 20,000 and then it goes like this. What happens is when you're using money you shouldn't be using, you almost always cash out here. And then you know what else happens? You leave the space. The true secret to wealth and life-changing wealth in this is obviously it does matter making smart buys and, investing in good projects versus like the scam projects out there, or the ones that just don't have the right team to make things happen or other things. You'll do better investing in solid projects, but also not playing with money that you can't afford to lose and then losing a bunch and then exiting and then leaving the space and think that there's something wrong with this space. It was just you're new to investing, and we're always bad before we're good, right? And so I'm just sharing with you some mistakes that will help keep you in the game, because this game we have this shot for life-changing wealth. Well, we'll have this cycle, probably next cycle, probably one after that, but every time the cycles don't have as much volatility. And the volatility is what creates the opportunity for 100x gains. And 100x gains are the things that create life-changing wealth. Now, are there some possibilities for things that could do 100x gain from here? Yeah, I'll talk about two of them that could. I don't know that they will, they just could. I don't have a magic crystal ball that tells me exactly how things are going to play out, but I do like the fundamentals behind both these projects tremendously, and that's why I want to share them with you. All right, so Crypto Fear and Greed Index is really, high on the fear, and I like that, or low on this. That's great. I do think we have at least one more massive gain coming later this year. YFI, I like this chart because this helps you see. Now, I'm not saying I love YFI to buy. I don't buy YFI. I have none of it. I'm not going to buy it. What I like about this chart is you can see the volatility in crypto. And back here, YFI was trading about $4,000, ran all the way up to $42,000. But look how this played out. Head and shoulders pattern, just like what we were talking about. So, I mean, it's kind of a weird head and shoulders, but it is a head and shoulders pattern. Mostly. So let me share this with you. And then what happens is people panic sell right in here. And then they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I sold because look at that. But they don't buy back in. And then look where it went to up there. And then over time, look what it's done, right? So think about how far ahead you are when you have the ability to be patient, and you are just patient. Now, it went all the way up here, and then it crashed down to here. But guess what? Here is still above down here, right? And we've had some massive crashes, and maybe it comes down a little bit farther. But is that possibly a better buying time than selling in general when you have that kind of retracement, right? So we make our money on the buy. So what's funny is when things are crashing like this, people get the most scared and they do the least amount of buying. And when things are going parabolic and crazy, that's when people get really creative with putting new money in just in time to have it crash. Now, if you'll subscribe to the channel and follow me, I'm going to cover these subjects with you on a frequent basis. And to the extent that I can, I'm going to hold your hand with some of these principles. None of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not going to try to be. I'm just sharing with you how I think about things and the choices that I'm making. I can't tell you what decisions to make for yourself. And you might even like touch the hot stove some and sell at these lows. I mean, when you're new, people make bad choices, right? You might panic sell here. We all have done it once. And maybe you have already, or maybe you haven't and you need to touch the hot stove only to see what happens from here and later be able to kick yourself and say, I shouldn't have done that. So maybe you need to go through that. I don't know. I definitely touched the hot stove a couple times before I learned that I don't sell when everybody's panicking. All right, let's get on to what I want to cover. See, many of you are in the U.S., not all of you, I think 25% of my audience, and you're frequently asking how to get into some kind of ICO. Now, Bumper Finance, I've talked about before. In fact, I had the CEO on my channel a while back. He is freaking brilliant, and the people that help put this together are brilliant. And their solutions to this are brilliant. And I love the name Bumper. So Bumper is like a safety bumper where you can essentially de-risk your downside. So say Bitcoin's at 90,000, you want to see if it'll go to 150,000, but you don't want to continue the risk. Let's say it then hits 100,000, you're like, okay, but I think it can go to 150,000. I don't know. For actually a very small insurance amount, you can essentially buy insurance with Bumper once it is live. And say it's at 100,000. If it drops below 90,000, you can actually cash in that insurance to 90,000. So say it drops to 45,000 and you had insurance, you can cash it in and get your $90,000. Isn't that amazing? You can also, that allows you to hedge your downside risk while exploring further upside. It's amazing the way they did this. You'll have to check out that interview. It's fantastic. Jonathan Descartes. I have a hard time saying his last name. Anyway, Descartes might be the correct pronunciation, but they are doing staking that you can stake, I think, USDT. That will be happening on the 14th of July. So in essence, a little over 2 weeks, and you can stake these in order to earn some of their bump tokens. Now, I don't know how much it's paying in your bump token. It says like 300% APY for early bump farm plus buyer. I don't know how all this plays out, but you can follow them on Twitter. I'm sure there will be more explanations as they come up. So at Bumper Finance. And they were nice enough to follow me. That's awesome. All right. You can follow me at Crypto Rainn. Now, somebody had Crypto Rainn with one N, so I had to take Crypto Rainn with two N's. Just is what it is, right? The other one I want to talk about is Formation Finance, and I'm not even going in depth into Bumper and Formation today, but Formation has something notable coming up. They did just do their ICO launch. They're currently 7x from their, I guess it was more of an IDO than an ICO, but they're 7x from their IDO price. I was hoping that the price would come down and be super attractive because we're in a terrible market. Now, in a terrible market, 7x from their IDO price is ridiculously amazing. Nobody's doing those kind of numbers, and yet they have. And I swear this team never sleeps. They're constantly putting out information. I try to keep an eye on this project because I really, really like it. I cannot keep up with them. They are always working, doing all kinds of things. So if you hold their tokens, I want to read this to you. So we approach closer to our big alpha version 1 launch. Early holders of Form will be able to connect their private wallet to start earning their early access tier cards. This program will allow the Formation team to monitor community members and ensure quality holders are rewarded for their early adoption of the protocol. Each tier will provide a different multiplier bonus when alpha version 1 is live. Furthermore, additional features like early access to specific pools, extra juicy APY, and airdrops are just a few perks. And so silver is holding 2,500 to just under 10,000. Gold is 10,000 to just under 35,000. Diamond is holding 35,000 plus, or black. Nice. 50,000 plus. Now this is one of my big picks that from here even, obviously, I was really hoping it dropped under 10 cents, and maybe it still will. But this is one of my big picks with how hard they work for some massive gains. I mean, let's look at their token real quick. See, it did go all the way to 40 cents. It's trading at just over 20 cents, so it's retraced by half. If we were able to chart this out, you would see this line coming down here, and it's actually held above this line. So we'll see. Volume is low. I like to buy things really, really cheap. If all their supply was in circulation and they were at, so 100% of their supply was in circulation, that's what gives us our fully diluted valuation. So I always ask myself, from here, if the project did really, really well, is it possible that it could 100x from here? Now it is. It's a little bit of a stretch. Just know that this isn't actually not going to happen. So let's factor that this, let's say within the next 9 months, that half their supply will be in circulation, which won't be the case. Then this fully diluted valuation would be a lot closer to 100 million. So what I'm trying to figure out is what would be the market cap, say 9 months from now, so that I can figure out if 100x is possible. So let's say that half of their token supply would be in circulation. I think it's still a lot less than that would be in circulation. But that would put this at about 100 million market cap. And can it go to 10 billion is really the question. Now, I think that this one can. I mean, Celsius itself isn't too far from this. I think this team, with how they're working, I think it's possible. And so Formation is getting, my attention. The other one that's getting my attention that I want to talk about today is Bumper Finance. They haven't even launched yet. Their token itself won't even be available for trading, I think, till like November or something late this year. But early adopters can earn it through staking coming up mid-July. I think that one's going to be a home run. And especially if you're getting it in essentially IDO price, I'm not sure how those mechanisms work. The chances that can hit 100x, I think, are solid. Bumper Finance is revolutionizing the way you can essentially do insurance on your crypto positions. And I think it's going to be a complete home run. I don't know that. I think so. And that's why Bumper Finance, one of my ones I'm most interested in the whole crypto space, and I want to share that with you. Now, not financial advice, who knows? Both of these projects have amazing teams. You never know what could happen. Plane crash, whatever, or they get hacked, whatever could happen. So just know that it's not a sure bet. There are no sure bets. This is crypto. It is the wild, wild west. Think of swimming in deep, deep waters. There are lots of sharks. There are, amazing dolphins in there, but even dolphins get eaten by the sharks sometimes. So just be careful. However, there's no better place to be. I've been in investment for 20 years, and the reason I stopped doing real estate investment and focused 100% on this is because there's just a lot more money to be made here through smart decisions than anything else I was looking at. And so I didn't want to, I didn't expect anything to take my mind off of investment real estate, which I've been very good at and very good at doing. But crypto has my full attention. Yeah, I'm here for a good reason. So thanks for joining us. I know my shirt's been playing weird tricks. It's like kind of transparent, so it's my magic trick for the day. I do thank you for joining us. The song is put together by Manuela, and she's sharing it for all you rainmakers out there. Rainmakers are those that commit to themselves for the 5 years, subscribe to the channel and like my videos, and help this message grow so that we can help people take a more reasoned approach, which they will be much more likely to hit their long-term goals this way. Also, check out my video that I made just the other day on creating wealth through creating wealth through crypto. And it has some calculations, and I walk you through how to use those and how much to figure that you want to make this cycle and then the following cycle in order to hit your long-term passive income goals. When I say long-term passive income goals, one of the great things with making a whole bunch of money is you can invest those into passive assets that can then make you financially free. Because if you have more passive income coming in per month than you're used to spending, and you're not having to work every day for that, well, then truly you're free. And I don't recommend you stop working. I recommend you stop working in something you don't like and go do something you do like. All right, thanks. Take it away, Manuel.
Success is falling, flowing like rain. The timing's right, we're getting paid. Come on, Rainmakers, let's make this happen.